Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, training programs and schools, skilled trade professions, career readiness skills, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Toni Cureton, your host, and we are back again with Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union, and they are continuing in our financial literacy series. And today we're going to be talking about purchasing a used vehicle. Welcome back, Colleen. We are so glad to have you.
Thank you again. Good to see you, Cureton. Good to see you. I do have a video to start with today, and we talked about leasing versus buying last time, and we were getting into some tips and concepts for buying a used car. So you'll hear some things you heard last time, some repeats, and some familiar information.
Yeesh, I really need a car.
Hi! Hello there! Hold on a minute. Have I got the perfect vehicle for you?
Is that a question?
No question about it. Here's your dream car. It's compact, high-tech, only driven by Grandma on Sundays.
No offense or anything, but I think I'm better off buying something brand new.
On the contrary, did you know that a new vehicle can lose almost half its value in the first few years?
What? Seriously?
That brand new car you're thinking of buying starts losing value the moment you drive it off the lot, and loses the most value in the first few years. That's why buying a car that's a few years old can be a great way to save some cash. It's all right here in my trusty blue book.
But I don't know where that car's been. Ugh.
Hey, watch it, lady. I've been around the block a few times, sure, but I'm still in tip-top shape.
What? A talking car? Well, I'm sold.
Great! It's a deal. I'll go get the paperwork.
You know, we're really just not right for each other.
I always wanted a talking car. We can say hi to joggers and sing songs on road trips together.
Whatever. What do you know about buying a used car anyway?
Just pick the newest, cheapest one. Simple.
That might just backfire on you.
I'm certainly not the cheapest. I don't think she gets it.
First of all, you've got to do your research. Start off by setting a realistic price range. You don't want to get stuck making monthly payments you can't afford down the road.
I see what you did there.
Only look for makes and models that fit into your price range. Keep in mind the cost of insurance and repairs, as well as the features you actually need.
Like mega awesome talking ability?
Like the junk you're hauling around. There's no way I can carry all that.
Yeah, I guess not. Maybe a roof rack, though?
Roof racks are so not my style.
You may be better off with a nice hatchback. Have a look over there.
Well, this one is pretty awful, but I like the sporty one. I'll buy this one instead. I can always throw on some talk radio.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Pump the brakes there, Turbo.
Before you commit to a used car purchase, you should always evaluate the car. First, take a good long test drive to get a feel for the car and to spot any immediate problems. Then get the vehicle checked by a trusted independent mechanic. Finally, get a report of the vehicle's history based on the VIN.
The what now?
The vehicle identification number, or VIN, can usually be found on the driver's side where the windshield meets the dash. The VIN provides useful information on a car's accident and repair history, manufacturer recalls, and vehicle use.
Wait, hold the phone. It says here this hatchback has been used to deliver bowling balls to ski resorts for years, and it once got major water damage from rolling into a hot tub. No thanks.
Glad you checked, aren't you?
Heck yeah. I just wish I could afford a car as clever as you, but maybe with some more room.
We've got options for miles. Let's wheel and deal, huh?
Well, I'm no master negotiator.
You don't say.
Learning to effectively negotiate is very important, whether you're shopping at a dealership or buying direct from the previous owner.
And the most important part of negotiating is always being prepared to walk away.
I think I'm gonna take some time, do my research, and then come back with the perfect game plan.
Good idea. See you then. Remember, research, evaluate, negotiate.
Nice job, sales guy. You sure know how to close the deal.
Go take a joyride.
La 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 la.
I should have done my research.
All right, so pretty cute, pretty cute. Let's see. Okay. Right. So we can see the buying a used car now, right? Let's see. This is yeah, okay. Oops. Sure. Come on. There we go. This is a simple guide to buying a used car. Some tips and tricks so you get the best deal, right? There's a different car that's perfect for you, that's perfect for the next person or the next person. So how do you find the one that's right for you? Benefits of buying used. When we spoke last time, leasing versus buying, we were talking strictly about brand new cars, whether we would buy or lease a brand new car. And first thing he mentions, if you remember from last week, is that new cars lose their value very quickly. You saw in the chart, the first few years, it loses a lot of value. So getting dealer used, it's called, a car that's used a few years old, but it's still being sold by a dealership. The older a car is, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, it's not going to be at a dealership. Dealerships are only going to have maybe back to 3, 4 years typically. Wider selection. You want a blue one. The dealership might only have, one red one, but if you're looking throughout the whole state, oh, well, I found the blue one that I wanted. So used cars can give you a better inventory to look through. Resale value. Again, if it loses value so much in the first few years, you're starting at that a few years old point. So you're putting less money into the car, meaning when you sell it, you get to keep more of that money, or you even possibly make your money back. It's when you pay that brand new car price and then go to resell it once it loses a lot of value, you're kind of stuck. But if you buy the car at that lower used car price, when you go to resell it, it'll be a better deal for you, better situation. All right, research. Research is probably going to be the first step to a lot of things. When we talk about acing a job interview, first step, do your research. Talking about building a budget. All right, well, first I got to research. I got to gather a bunch of information. All right, before I get a car. And why am I buying a car? It could be because I want it. I feel like I want a new car, so I'm not on a deadline. I just want to look around until I find something I like. Or it could be my car's breaking down all the time. I'm just so sick of fixing it. So I need to find something to replace it. It's not immediate, but pretty soon. Or it could be, I got into a car accident. My car's totaled. I have no car. I need a vehicle. I need to get a car quickly within the next few days. And it's those situations, especially where you won't necessarily take all the time to research and evaluate and negotiate. You'll skip a few steps just to get it done. Take the time. These are the steps we need to go through. We got to start with research. Set your price range. How much can you afford? Look at what you're paying now. Maybe you're maybe you're currently making a car payment. If you're not, if this is your first car, or if you bought your last car, cash, and you haven't been making a car payment for years, and you're going to be taking on this additional car payment, this additional expense, I should say, how much are you willing to pay monthly? It's not so much I can afford 20 grand or 15 grand. It's how much do I feel comfortable being able to contribute every single month? Not, on a good month, or, when I get a lot of hours, I can make this much. No, you want, what can I afford for sure, month after month after month after month, right? There's always some expenses. We don't know, if we have to repair something. We don't know if my jacket's going to rip and I got to buy a new jacket. So you got to have a realistic price range. For instance, this example has 8,000 to 10,000, or excuse me, 8,000 to 12,000. If you're walking into a dealership, do not tell the salesman, well, my maximum is 12,000. I can go up to 12,000, because they are already like, okay, we're starting at 12,000, and they'll get you, well, what about 12,500? Or, well, this is only another $30 a month. This is only another $60 a month. Look what you're getting out of it. And pretty soon your maximum is going higher and higher. Start with your minimum. Right? Start with, I can afford 8,000, whatever that monthly is. And then, you have some wiggle room. You have that, if I find something a little nicer or convinces me to pay a little more, it's good, but don't start at that maximum. Figure out what kind of car you need. Again, it depends on your situation. Are you literally just looking for transportation? I just need a way to get to work. I don't care if it's a van. I don't care if it's a hatchback. I just need something. Is it a situation where you're going to be towing? You need to tow a boat. You need to tow a trailer, or, you're a landscaper. You're going to have equipment you need to tow. Do you have a big family? You're going to have, multiple children, or you're going to be doing a carpool. Personally, I've had a few requirements for every car I've ever had. Cloth seats, no leather seats. 4-wheel drive. It's got to be 4-wheel drive. I live in Michigan. It snows. Got to have 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive, cloth seats. Those are two for sure. And then, certain colors I don't like. I like black. I like silver. But those are really the deal breakers. That's, I got to start there. And I really, an SUV. That's, well, I guess because it's 4-wheel drive, but really an SUV, nothing low to the ground. So that's what you're going to look for. Narrow down what you're looking for. What am I going to use it for? How much am I going to drive? If this is something I'm going to be driving, 50 miles every day for work, maybe a big SUV with low gas mileage is not a good idea. Maybe you should get the smaller car that has really good gas mileage, if you're going to be driving a lot. Get pre-approved. You'll remember this from last time when we were talking about buying a new car. And before you go into that dealership, you get that pre-approval from your credit union that says, we'll give you a loan for this much at this amount. Same thing. If you're going into the dealership to buy a used car, same thing. Have a pre-approval. How much are you pre-approved for? Especially, so now for sure, let's say it's that 8,000 to 12,000 and you're pre-approved for 12,000, okay, I know that. I don't even have to tell him, but I just know in my head that that's my max. Have that information ahead of time. Makes it higher negotiating power you have with the salesman. And especially they know you're serious because you've done your research already. Find your vehicle. So again, what do I want? What's my wish list car? Okay, let's see. I want a new Bronco. I want a Bronco. I want a black one. I want 4-wheel drive. I want, the Outer Banks package, which I think maybe is only on the Bronco too. But, let me find that car. How much is that car? Okay, how much is that car? Maybe a few years old. How much is that car? in different, areas of the country? Or what does it say about it? Is there a lot of bad reviews? Is this a car that's had a lot of recalls? Is this a car that is really hard to find? It's on back order. Who knows? If you want a really specific car, a very specific, a cabriolet was something one of my friends had in high school that I've never seen another one since. Research what you're looking for. What's the average price? I know I can spend between 8 and 10,000, but how much? Oh, this Bronco is definitely not going to be in my 8 to 10,000. Absolutely not. Well, what is, or maybe how old? Maybe the Bronco in the 80s will be in my price range. What's the average price for what I'm looking for? I keep mentioning going to the dealer. I do recommend looking at dealer used cars. Dealer used cars, like Ms. Cureton said last time, have been inspected. They've gone through some sort of certification. We know the brakes are good. We know the engine is good. We know the oil was changed. We know the tires aren't bald. And you probably don't have a warranty, but you can at least feel confident that you're leaving with a working car, a car that should be working just fine. When we buy from a private seller, just a neighbor, a person from Craigslist, they can tell us, oh, it's a brand new engine, brand new brakes. But how do we know? I mean, how do they prove it? Extras. If you go to the dealership and you're trying to negotiate price, maybe they can throw in something. I don't want to pay 12,000. Well, if you pay 12,000, I'll throw in, a year's worth of car washes or a year's worth of oil changes, or I'll install the trailer hitch for free. We'll put a roof rack on it. We'll detail the inside. They have maybe something to play with. A private seller is, take the car or don't. This is what the car is. I'm not waxing it for you. I'm not installing anything for you. Do you want it or not? So there's not as much wiggle room there. Also with a dealership is you have the ability to trade in your car if you have a car. If you are driving a car, even if it's that car, you're like, oh, this thing is so old, I got to replace this. It's falling apart. Take it to the dealership. What would I get? If I were to give you this car, or if I were to trade this car in, how much would I get? And it depends. It could be, you could be getting a solid $5,000-$6,000 for your car. You could be getting $2,000. They might be even offering something as low as like, well, we'll give you $800. And you're like, no, thank you. I think I'll just keep the car and sell it myself. I can sell it for much more than $800. You will likely be able to sell your old car privately for more money than the dealership is going to offer you. But it's like taking the loan the dealership offers you. It's convenience versus money. You know what? I give it to the dealer. It's done. It's taken care of. That's it. I don't have to put any ad in the paper. I don't have to, make appointments for people to come see it, let them test drive it. I can just skip that whole process. You know what? I'll take $2,000. Sure. That way you don't have to maybe have 2 cars at the same time. You're trying to sell this car while you buy a car, but you really can't afford to buy this car until you sell this car. So that timing may not work out so well. If you just trade it right in with the dealer, timing works out perfectly. So there's not necessarily a better or worse option. It's which one works better for you. Some negatives: higher prices at the dealer. Because it has that certification guarantee, because they took the time to check the brakes, check the washer fluid, check the transmission, they're going to bump up the price a little higher than if you were at a private seller. But a negative of the private seller is it's not going to offer you any protection. We kind of mentioned that before. There isn't any guarantee that this car is going to stay together. I sold my old Ford Ranger years ago to some who was at the time my boyfriend's best friend, and something went wrong with it like a month later, and it was this big deal, and he wanted me to pay for it, and I'm like, you bought the car, that's not my problem anymore. You know, dealership's not going to tolerate that. You try and get a private seller, you know, you sold me something wrong, you knew there was something wrong with it, I'm going to take you to the police. Just avoid that whole thing. It says in the video, and I'm sure it's probably getting here somewhere, of getting the car looked at by a mechanic, having it looked at. If the person you're buying it from is not willing to get it looked at, then you need to walk away. If they're not willing, if they don't say, yeah, go ahead, take a look, have a look at it. I know it's fine, the car's fine. If they're not, if they're hiding something, you don't want to deal with it. Just forget it. All right, so we've done all that research. We've looked up our car. We've looked at our budget. We've looked at maybe where we're going to start shopping, exactly what we're going to shop for. Now we're going to start evaluating. Now we've got the actual car in front of us. We're at the dealership. You know, we're looking around, or maybe we're at, you know, 3 different dealerships today. What do we got to look at? We got to look at the exterior, you know, rust. Michigan cars have a lot of rust because we put salt on the roads. If you drive, you know, down south or on the East Coast, you'll notice the cars they're just not as rusty, or they don't have that, you know, what's it called? The wheel well, like the wheel well and the trim isn't all rusted because they put dirt, you know, down on the roads. Is there rust underneath the car that you can't see, but oh, it's just about to come right out. It's just about to get super rusty. Is there damage, scratches? You know, a photo, you can make a car look pretty good in a photo. Look around all the details, check the engine, each part of the engine. If you buy a private seller car, you buy a car from your neighbor, you make that exchange, they hand the title over. There's no returning the car. You buy a car from a dealership, you exchange money, they turn the title over, you apply for the registration. There's no returning the car. You cannot return a car. And to be clear, even if you're buying a brand new car from a dealership, you cannot return the car. So you got to be 100% sure. You got to say, oh, well, I meant to have it checked. Well, that's not fair. There's no returning the car. Take the car for a test drive. Absolutely, 100%. Any dealership should be happy to let you test drive it. A private seller should be happy to let you test drive it too. They may request, you know, well, I want to go with you. You know, it's my car. I don't really want to have you take it out by yourself. I'll just be in the car with you. That's fair. That's fair. Or they might say, I want to take a picture of your driver's license, or I want you to sign something that says I'm going to bring the car back. That's okay. That's fair. That's fair. But you should be able to drive it, and you should be able to drive it more than just down the street. You want to go on the highway for a little bit. You want to go on a side street. You want to check the brakes. You want to check its stop signs. You want to maybe get some speed going and hit the brakes, see if it stops. Test the wipers, test all the stuff, because you're thinking about driving, right? You're thinking about how it feels driving, and you forget, oh, I got to pay attention to the wipers, the headlights, the turn signals, turn the radio on. Does the radio work? All of those little details, right? Because if it's a used car, it is what it is, right? If the radio's scratchy, they don't have to tell you the radio's scratchy. You know, if the wipers are super loud, they don't have to tell you the wipers are super loud. Check all those details. Don't go nuts driving around, but make sure you're testing it out. Different areas, different speeds. You know, yeah. If you're used to you will be used to the feel of your car. There's always something different about driving another car. It's just not yours. Even if you're driving a friend's car or just borrowing, you're like, oh, this doesn't feel like my car. If that's what's holding you back, don't have that hold you back. Does the car feel right? Is it going to be okay? If there's something uncomfortable about the way it sits, maybe it's not right. If there's something where I'm short, maybe I can't quite see over the dash, then that's not right for me. It's got to have a good feel, but it doesn't have to be exactly what you're used to. Check the alignment. What that means is, while you're driving, you're driving in a straight line, make sure you can keep going in a straight line and just kind of let go of the steering wheel for a little bit, not long, but the car should continue to go straight, right? At least pretty straight. If you let go and it automatically kind of starts veering left or right, there's something wrong with the alignment. That may be an issue. Check the brakes. If it's a manual transmission, which is less and less, you find that even less and less these days. But if it's a manual transmission, make sure you go through all the gears: first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. Test it out, up, down, reverse, all of that. Make sure you go in reverse. And like I mentioned, checking the brakes, check at a stop sign, a hard stop, go pretty fast in a hard stop. This feels good. You do not want that feeling of, oh, that took too long. That took too long. Either it's not the right car, or you're going to have to put money into the brakes. You're going to have to replace these brakes. So that's at least a few $100s, depending what kind of brakes, and if you need 4 or 2 or drums or rotors, but it's pretty expensive. Vehicle history report. This is what helped me. I mentioned, I think last time, I bought a car from the private dealership, and it was a Bronco, and they rolled the miles back. And how I found that out was through a Carfax, which I did after I bought the car. That's the wrong order. You do the Carfax before you buy the car. And it's the vehicle identification number. You can get the vehicle identification number right off the car. It is on the dash. It's usually on the door when you open the driver's door, and they're on the side. It's in a couple places. It's going to be in the manual. Well, maybe it's specifically this vehicle, not this type of vehicle, not this, brand. It's this specific vehicle, right? If you check a Carfax, it should be able to tell you who has owned this car. How many times has the title changed hands? Did I buy it from the person who bought this car new, or did I buy it from the 6th owner of this car? It should be able to tell you, has this car been in a flood? Is this car been a restored total? When a car is totaled, it's right on the edge, of being totaled, and you get it fixed. You get all of those things, and you spend thousands and thousands of dollars fixing up what would be a totaled car. Those cars are always kind of iffy, they're never quite back to the way they were. And some people are really, really apprehensive about buying a restored, totaled car. And mileage, whatever the mileage was that it said the car had on Carfax, did not match the mileage of what I saw when I went to see it. And how did that work? Oh, well, the number they showed me was less than what's on Carfax. Well, now we actually had something illegal we could work with. But again, of course, you want to find that out first. Find that out first. Run a Carfax on any car you're seriously thinking about. Now, you've really thought about it. Okay, I want this car. I'm sure I can afford it. It seems right. I've driven it. I've had it looked at. I'm going to actually show you a few things on scam stuff at the end that I found on advertisements, different car advertisements. So you've decided you want this car. Now you got to negotiate. Now you want to buy it. So keeping in mind, remember, dealers don't just make money off the selling price. There's what's called the MSRP, manufacturer sale retail price. Meaning that's what the car's worth. So that big number on either the side window or on the windshield's got a big number. This car is worth $32,568, as is, with these specific features. Okay, so that's what they call sticker price, the sticker price of the car. So when you come in, you're looking at that and you're like, oh, how about I give you $31,000 for that car? What can you do to lower that price? What can you throw in for me to get a lower price? Well, at the same time, the dealer is trying to make money on what they call the back end, which is, all right, I'll knock $1,000 off, the sale price. But once we get back into the office and I'm having you sign papers, I'm going to tell you about, we have this tire warranty. And if something happens with your tires, we just replace it. And we have this transmission or drivetrain warranty. If something breaks with this, we repair it, and all this stuff. And you're like, okay. What you're doing is buying those things. You're purchasing a drivetrain warranty. You're purchasing a tire, replacement warranty. So you got to be really sure, listening, asking questions. What are you signing? What is this piece of paper? What did you say? So this comes with the car. No. So this is included in the payment. No, it's not included. Okay. Make sure. There's a lot of, extras, that stuff, what they call back end, that's in addition to the car that they make money off of. So you very well may be interested in an extended warranty. You may want to pay for a tire plan if you drive tons of miles and drive across the country and I just want to make sure the tires are covered. Well, then, okay, you can get a tire warranty. Just understand that it's something additional that you're paying for on top of, the price you guys discussed. And trade-in. Remember, keep in mind, if you traded in your car, so, oh, that's right, they were going to give me $2,000 for my car. So instead of $32,000, I'm really only paying $30,000 for this car. Okay. Am I lowering that MSRP by what I'm trading in? So that's always a big help. All right, research the price. Remember, I looked at cars before I came here. I looked at I'll say Ford Escapes, because that's what I drive. And the year that I want, the model that I want is about 28,000, 27,000, 29,000. That's kind of what I've seen it for. So now I'm going into the dealership today and they're offering me this one right here for 32,000. I could take it, but I've looked and I've seen it at these other dealerships for much less. Well, how about 30,000? No. Well, I saw it at XYZ dealership was selling it for 29,000. And I saw this other dealership, selling it for this much, because I know full well that the price on that car, that 32,000, is a higher number than what the dealership paid for it, right? Dealership probably paid, let's say $25,000, but they're selling it for 32. Right? That's that front end profit where they sell it for more than they bought it for. So I know that even if I get them to lower the price, they're still making a profit, right? So there is that kind of buffer room where sometimes they will lower it a few thousand. They really want to make that sale. If you're going to walk away over $1,000 or $2,000, they'll likely give in. It depends, but a lot of times they want to make that sale. So once you've decided on the sale price, okay, is it going to be, 30,000? Is it going to be 28,000? Because, hey, I see it. I'm just going to go buy it here. If you can't match their price. Oh, great. Now I'm getting it for 28,000. Awesome. And I get my $2,000 trade-in. Now it's only 26,000. Look at the difference between that. I'm getting it even cheap. Right. It's great. Do your research, negotiate. And now you're back in the back room signing the papers. Turn down those add-ons. Know what you're getting. They're not all bad, but you can probably get a cheaper one. You don't need it. They're not all necessary. It's just more sales. They're a salesman. It's more profit. So be careful what you sign. Don't stop asking questions. Keep asking questions. You're giving them a lot of money. You have all the time in the world to ask them questions, and they should have all the time in the world to answer them. Be prepared to walk away. This is really important. You're like, well, of course, what do you mean be prepared to walk away? You have to be ready to walk away from any sale. Once you've driven a car and you've decided you've fallen in love with it, this is it. This is the car I'm getting. And he's not lowering the price. He's sticking at 32,000, and he's not going to lower it. And I'm like, I really can't afford that. I mean, that's more. I could only do, 300 a month. And if I get this car, it's going to be like 400 a month. But I've already got my heart set on it. So I'm going to figure out some way to make it work. Don't fall in love with any car. You can like this. You can think, oh, I really like this one. This might be the one. Don't get too attached. You have to be ready. You have to be, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll come back, or, well, hopefully it'll be here next week. Maybe they'll lower the price by next week. Don't get too attached, especially some people before they even see it. They get so excited. I found it. I found the black Escape with cloth seats. That's 4-wheel drive with tinted windows. It had Sirius radio. It has everything I want. It's the perfect car. Well, I've already decided it's the perfect car before I've even seen it. So they're going to have a pretty easy time convincing me almost of anything, because I already know I want that car. I'm not going to do very well at negotiating it down. I'm just going to take it. Be prepared to walk away. If you're ready to walk away, that 32,000 may go down now. Or, okay, we're going to call you back tomorrow. You know what? We thought about it, and we're going to give it to you for less, or we're going to throw in oil changes or something. You have to feel okay saying no. It's a big, big decision. Don't be guilted into buying a car. Don't feel, ashamed and like you have to buy a car. Don't feel, to be powerful, I got to buy. I'll show him I can afford this. That is not why you buy a car. Think about it. Think about it. Walk away. Be 100% sure. You can't return it. You can't return it. You cannot return it to a private seller. You cannot return it to a dealership. You know why? Because unlike any other product, you'd return a shirt, you're like, I wore it or I didn't wear it. They can resell that shirt. Once you've purchased a car, it's been titled to you. It's had another owner. So it's literally lost value in the time that you've had it because it's been titled to another owner. It's no longer new, especially if you return a new car and it's no longer new because you've had it for a few days. It's no longer new. It's been titled to you. It's worth a whole lot less than you bought it for. They're not going to take it back. I promise you. All right. So again, a lot of familiar things we mentioned last time, but now we're looking at cheaper cars, but the same idea. What am I looking for? What's going to be right for my situation? How long do I want to have this car? If I plan on keeping this car, then I'm okay getting a 5-year loan to pay for it. But if I'm moving to New York in 2 years for sure, and I'm only going to have it for a couple years, maybe buy a cheaper car. Buy a car that you're going to pay less for, that you can maybe make your money back reselling it. Don't get something that's going to lose a lot of value in just those few years. Any questions? Anything missing, Ms. Cureton, that you can think of?
I do want to ask this question. when you're buying, whether it's a new car or used car, don't you have like 3 days to make a decision on whether or not you want to keep it or return it?
That may be the case at specific dealerships. It may be like an overnight thing where they can stop it, but I know because my father has tried to return a car that my mother told him not to buy in the first place. So it was a memorable experience, and because they wouldn't take it back, and they're like, no. And he, at one point, I think it was, we'll take it back, but we can't give you the tax back. There's no way we can return, the sales tax that you've paid. And it was just, there's no way it was going to work. And so if you can possibly maybe find that situation within a couple days, but let's just say they're not going to do it.
Okay.
Or make sure that's clear, say, do I have a couple days? Do I have 5 days? If you want to make sure you have that, put that in there. Say, all right, don't send this registration out. Don't put it in the mail until Friday, and don't send out the title, because once the title and the registration and that stuff's gone through, it's had an official owner and it's no longer a new car. So I that was the issue with his, is it was a new car, and they're like, it's not a new car anymore. So we can't
Okay.
sell it for that.
Okay, so it's not a guarantee. It's something that you should check up front before you take possession of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Well, if there aren't any more questions or comments, we will bring this session to a close. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Colleen. Always great to have you provide us with such, financial literacy wisdom.
Every little bit helps. So absolutely here to help. So
Absolutely.
have a great weekend.
Thanks, you guys. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.